The resource to order at 2:04. David, will you give the invocation, please?
Yes, sir. God, we praise you for this day. Lord God, we pray for our brothers and sisters down south. God, just be with them, Lord. And God, be with the workers. And God, we praise you and thank you for all these things. And God, we pray for all those families, God, who's lost loved ones, God, in the last few weeks, Lord. God, just bring healing to them, Father, and comfort, God. And God, I pray for those who are ill, Lord, can't be with us today, Lord. God, just bring healing to them, Father. God, we are so thankful for all these things, God. And be with us today. And most of all, we thank you for your cross. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Rex Jordan.
Here.
E.O. Smith.
Here.
Will England.
Honey.
Austin.
Here.
Harley Dozer.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis. Wanda Hatfield. Honey. Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw. Honey. Janice Taylor. Here. Victoria Westwood.
Honey.
David Washington.
Honey.
Brian Warner. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Need approval of minutes.
Make a motion, they be approved.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving right on down to reports. Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon. We're still recovering from the holidays. I thought the parade went well. Powwow was good. Joe, we need to have a little sit down about powwow grounds soon. When you have that many people trying to get in and out of the same place, it's kind of difficult. So I know we've had this conversation before, so that's just something that we need to talk about and see if we can't resolve some of those issues.
Well, thank you for helping us with one of those, the exits there.
Right.
I mean, that really helped.
And the county commissioners help too, so
Yeah.
I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Yes. Marla.
It's not a question, but I agree with what you're saying, Bruce, about getting in and out of the powwow. It's just not, something's just not managed right, because you could send everybody up on the hill and they park in the pasture. And I don't know, I don't know what you do. I know we've had it out there for years. and
When you go from
We have it.
1,000 to 1,200 to 5,000 to 6,000, maybe more, we've outgrown that facility, I'll just say that. So we need to look at it and see what we can do. And it's a
Well, I
beautiful
don't think
facility.
I don't think the facility's outgrown. I just think we need to manage the parking some way.
We've got to have someplace to put them, that's for sure. Okay, that's why I mentioned we need to sit down, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, every year, Bruce, when we have our after the holiday meeting, and we'll have one soon. In the last 2 or 3 years, what Bruce and his staff have done is they've helped with adding the restrooms up there.
Right.
And much needed there. And then we have our porta potties in addition to that. We've cleared off that back land there. We got it leased out, but they still use it for parking.
Right.
We're looking at, if you're going west across the powwow grounds from the culture grounds, there to it'd be the north side of the road. We're even looking at that for parking.
Right.
But there's more and more people coming. I looked up Saturday night, well, even Friday night, the crowd was really large. But Saturday night, I looked at the arena and looked back. I mean, there was really not any room. I mean, the people were like all the way deep to the road there, to the fence. It just and the weather was outstanding.
Right.
The whole Labor Day weekend, Cherokee Holidays was outstanding.
I had reports that we had 2 and 3 hours in line trying to get there. That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing to get in and out of that place. You've got the softball going on. You've got all kinds of events. And the guys, our payout is not equivalent to most people's payout. It's below
Right.
most area payouts. And we keep it that way because we don't want to become too commercial.
Right.
We don't want to too commercial and have, we could add another 10,000 people here, but we're trying to keep it authentic as much as we can. But we do need the facilities. We probably need to look at maybe RV parking there somewhere. And maybe another bathroom for the women over there closer to the arena there. If we could do that, that would be a big plus. But see, we asked Bruce all of these things, but we never increase his budget. I mean, council, I mean, if I need something, I call Bruce, but we don't ever increase his budget. So if we're going to ask him to do these things, then let's start taking that look at his budget and say, hey, what would it take to do this and this and this? So when we look at our budget mods, you know, let's do it.
Right.
Anyway, Bruce, appreciate you. Thank you,
Bet.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Forstick.
Bruce, this Friday, Sequoia's open up their first home football game.
Right.
Playing. And we're running into the same problem with having porta potties out there. We don't have any bathrooms out there. Is there I don't know, is there a place that we could, that we could put some bathrooms?
Been build some new ones
Build some, or build some
or build
new
on?
ones? You know where the existing, where the concession stand is?
The new one,
Not the new one,
the old one.
the old one.
Okay, sure.
Is there any way to use that space for maybe bathrooms?
We just have to go look, see about the plumbing and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll look at it for you.
Okay.
Get us a plan, okay?
All right. Sounds good. I just want
Okay.
to bring that to y'all's attention. I know you guys probably heard about it before, but
Sure.
Who they playing Friday?
Wolverines, man.
Any other questions?
No, I just have something to, a consideration. You know, with all the ladies that stood outside the ladies' room for over an hour to get inside the ladies' room and the men's room, which is next door, and they're kind of coming in and out, is it possible that we couldn't bust a wall through and take over half the men's room?
Well, it's a possibility. That's something to look at. But if Joe will give us some more money, we'll build the ladies another bathroom.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Well, as one of those ladies who stood in line for an hour, I just wanted you to know that for the men, I mean, actually, we were talking about just blocking their room and taking it over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
Boycott.
they're just kind of coming in and out, and the ladies, it doesn't move that fast.
Right.
So, but it hit me, if we could take 50% of the men's room, giving it to the ladies, it might alleviate part of the problem.
You want to vote on that?
What, how many of us are here?
Hey Bruce,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
Good.
Hey, now I'm not worried about this or anything, but a couple times I've drove by and looked at the gym and at Sequoia.
Sequoia Gym.
And I don't know who's in charge of it. Like I said, it's not priority for me, but I've noticed some of that lighter colored stuff. There's some black, whatever that is on there, and can that be cleaned?
It can.
Has anybody else noticed that
Where's it at, Sean?
at the Sequoia Gym?
The new one or old one?
Yeah, on the north side, yeah.
The new
Just-
one?
Yeah, just up there, kind of.
That facade there, it needs to be power washed.
Well, like I said,
Who's chairman of Education Committee anyway?
Well,
Oh, okay. Who's alum from Sequoia? Do we have one?
Any other questions for
yeah.
Bruce?
I want to add one thing,
Okay.
Rex.
Okay.
The October resource meeting will be at Bull Hollow. We will have lunch. We will have buffalo burgers and other things, so everyone's invited. I think, Shelley, what, usually 11?
10 a.m. meeting, 11 a.m. feed.
Okay?
And bring a full tank of gas.
Full tank of gas. Hey, now, and it has been suggested that we take a bus from here up there, and we can do that, right? GB? Yeah. Okay. We can take a bus from here, if you'd like to come here and ride the bus up and ride the bus back. That'll save you from trying to find it. Okay? How's that?
There's gonna be Buffalo Wild Wings there too, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Buffalo burgers and Buffalo Wild Wings.
right. It's really goose. Thank you, Brad.
Ginger Brown, Reeves.
Good afternoon. I think you have my report in front of you. If you have any questions, I will be happy to address them.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
Ginger, regarding Blue Ribbon Downs, Dallas 40 County, is any of that in trust?
BRD, Joel, how much of that? I don't think that any of BRD is in trust, just the land that's adjacent to it, is that right? But no, not Blue Ribbon Down.
How many acres do we have there?
That is in trust
No, I mean
Or-
just total.
at BRD?
Okay.
We can get back with you, get you that.
Used to be
Thank you.
210.
What's that?
We'll look, get back with you.
Thank you. Rick.
Sir. Any other questions? Sir.
Ginger, how long does it take to get a probate done on a piece of property? I know we got to fill the application out, and what's kind of the waiting period on
You
that?
mean through the state district court or through our process? And we provide the attorney through the AG's office. That, if we do an application through our
So you can, I
office.
didn't know you could do it either way, so you can do it either way then?
Yes.
Through state court or through?
Yes, yes, that's where we will take it. We take the application, and Linda Donaldson in the Attorney General's office
Okay.
files the probate.
Okay. And how long is the waiting list on that?
If there is no problem, generally, it's hard to say, anywhere from 6 to 9 months. 6 is a seamless probate
Okay.
with
And do
all
you
the
have the
waiting
app-
periods.
Do you have the application?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. And it's $400, which is the filing fee.
Okay.
And that's what they will bring in with their application. Then we can do the research and get it to Linda.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ginger. Elkins.
Yes, sir. Well, I can't compete with Buffalo Burgers. I will say that I think you have our report in front of you. As I always say, at this time, we've helped with the fishing day and the holiday, and I gotta say, it's the best event at the holiday. Kids get out there, and we didn't have as big a turnout as we thought. We had poles left over, but there were still at times, kids were just shoulder to shoulder. And I've done that for probably 4 or 5 years. I've done the parking at the powwow. I've done the trash at the powwow, and by far, I love this event. And neither one of those were terrible, but the fishing day is so much better, and kids seem to have a good time. We gave away 8 bicycles. My grandsons, one of them won a tackle box. They both got fishing poles, but one got a tackle box and one got a hammock. They were landing it that evening, so they're twins. But I think all those kids have a good time. I hope they did, and I hope they learned a little bit about getting out and fishing, and maybe they'll carry that on a little bit. I certainly hope that they do.
Is there any professional fishermen there?
Sir?
Is there any professional fishermen?
Oh, absolutely. Jason Christie was there, and so was Jimmy Houston,
Oh, wow.
practicing kiss and release.
That's
And Jason brings his boat, and he looks like a NASCAR racer. I mean, he's just decked out, and as much as the kids like it, the parents, they're checking out that boat, and kids are bringing, we have it stocked. Dale Glory and David Justice ran the event, but a lot of our folks, Wayne Isaac's staff, I mean, a lot of them really helped, and that's how it works, is people getting together and do that. But the adults will take fish that the kids brought and take them up there and have a picture with him, and it's just cool. They really enjoy that, and so do
And
the
they're
kids.
taking them to their car and getting them filleted.
Do what?
Yeah, he said they take them to their vehicle and get them filleted after they take a picture with them.
Probably. I went back there Sunday or Monday, and because I hadn't had a line in the water all summer, and I caught about 8 little. I threw them all back, but it's still fun to get out there.
Sure you did.
Yeah, no, I did. My wife said, "What are you going to do with those fish?" She wasn't there, and I said, "No, I'm just going to throw them back in there unless I get hungry," because I love catfish. But, it was a great day, great weekend, and I hear you talking about the issues of the holiday and things like that, but I know the people that come here enjoy this. I have a lot of relatives that come in for that, and off and on, and they really enjoy it. And a lot of them are out of state different times, and they just don't get to see things like this. And so they're real appreciative, and so am I. It's something that I look forward to every year. You know, we have our report. I would like to just discuss some of the numbers that we do. Most of the things that we have control on, we have well over 100% of what we do. Almost everything that our office does, we rely on the housing authority or some group to give us work to do. So, you know, like radon tests, if we don't have people coming in for that, we don't do a lot of radon tests. Same with asbestos. Generally, that's Bruce's folks or somebody like that. It's not too much with housing, but it is some. And so if there's a lot of it being done, we do a lot of it. Lead-based paint, that's just a requirement for housing. And if there's a lot of that going on, repair of older homes, pre-78, then we do a lot more of that. But like with environmental reviews, we're always going to do a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on with the housing authority. We stay real busy with it. So. And then, you know, we work for the Secretary of Natural Resources. In fact, she told me that she's not going to be able to make it here this afternoon, and she asked me to take any questions that you have and get those back to her so that she could get you some answers. So.
Yes, sir.
Tom, on landfill, I notice we don't get those reports like we used to do, but how's everything looking?
It's about like it is. We've had some issues with the cell construction. Not issues per se, is, you know, I won't take any more time than you need to on this, but they say, and I've been through a lot of training for federal acquisition regulations, to run a contract in the federal government, and this carries over to Cherokee Nation too, it costs almost 80% of that contract to run that contract. So if you've got $1 million contract, it'll take $800,000 to wrangle that. And it's just what it is. We have so many internal controls so that there's no issues. Well, our contractor that's been off with the Cherokee Nation at the landfills, been there almost 2 decades off and on. And they had some internal strife. Some of the engineers that we work with on a weekly basis left. And so we're having a little consternation of staying with that engineering group, or we'll move with the engineers that are that started their own engineering group. And so we've been evaluating that for the last 3 weeks, because we just want to spend the money correctly, and we want to get the best bang for the Cherokee Nation's buck. So the cell construction's still ongoing. We're just Secretary Hill's getting ready to pull the trigger on that and to obligate those funds. So there are issues out there, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, things are, I hate to say status quo, but that's pretty much what they are. There are issues out there, certainly there are, but most of them I don't see of anything that it's...
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, because ultimately, you know, at some point in time, it's going to come back to the Cherokee Nation on closing the landfill. If we don't take care of it, it may have to be closed sooner than what we're ready for.
Well,
So that's the reason I like to hear a report from time to time.
absolutely, absolutely. And you know, there is a long-term vision for that. In fact, one of the things that the Secretary is doing right now is looking at bidding out for a long-term plan for that. So they can look at when would be the best time to close it. And even if we close it, it wouldn't be something in the next 5 or so years. It would be strung out to where, and it may be something to where Cherokees would have a place to put their trash almost indefinitely. But we might get all the other cells completely closed.
And I agree with what you said about Cherokees. You know, that's what the landfill is about.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it's just good to hear that we're doing okay, and it looks good out there.
Well, and we're getting out there probably 6 times a month, and I talk with Jamie on a regular basis, and so.
Very good. Thanks, sir.
Ms. Shaw?
Yes, I was just curious, how often does the EPA come out and get levels? I mean, to measure what's happening in the dump, this toxic dump?
EPA does not do that. They rely on us to do that.
Do we have anyone certified, EPA certification to do that?
EPA doesn't certify people to come out and do that. what they do, there's a whole suite of chemicals, analytes is what they're called, that we come out and we have a contractor, so we use a third-party contractor so that they can do all the sampling on that. We certainly review that every quarter. They come out and they do groundwater, surface water, and there's a whole suite of, say, analytes that seem like there's 40 to 50, and then they look at groundwater movement, things like that. Where the landfill is located, it's located on shale, and the shale is very, very dense. And I don't know if you know anything about groundwater movement per se. In this part of the country, in the limestone, groundwater moves sometimes feet per day, many feet per day. Out there on that shale, it might not move inches per year, which is a good thing. Then if there are anything that gets outside of that, has a barrier underneath of it. If there were to be anything that would get out of there, we would hope that would be trapped there. We've never had a hit of anything. We had a question one time, and it was through an independent contractor, came out, and actually just Chief Baker wanted that done when he came into office. And they went through there, and they thought they grabbed something out of there, and they said, well, we see this is happening here. And I said, you're looking at this, this, and this, but that is a lab contaminant. Well, I'm almost sure. So when we follow up, let's see if it's there again. And so they followed up with another, and it was not there. So we've never had a hit that was established to the landfill that something was leaking there.
This company that does all this testing and all, in the event something did happen down the road or so, would they be liable, or would we?
Oh, absolutely not. It would be our landfill. In fact, there are protocols for that. If there's a leak of such and such a hit, we call it, then there are procedures to go in and make sure, was it actually a hit? Do you see it moving? Because we have groundwater monitoring wells around there that we can tell if water is actually moving and what it is. So we haven't had anything yet. And that landfill has been out there better part of 20-some years.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely. And again, if you have any questions for the secretary, if you haven't gotten them to me, you can send them to her or me, and I'll make sure she gets those. Thank you.
Old business, none pending. New business. Victoria, would you take that,
Yes, sir.
please?
This is a resolution authorizing the grant application by Cherokee Nation Environmental Programs for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Department of the Interior Office of Indian Energy and Economic Development, Energy and Mineral Development Program grant. I put this in the form of a motion.
Second, does it need to go to full council tonight?
If we can.
Yes, if possible.
Okay.
Got a first, I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Goes to full council.
Go to full council. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, October 23rd at Bull Holler. With a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.